The world is increasingly heading towards a catastrophic crisis in regards to how we're treating the environment and the damage this is causing to our planet. One of the major causes and contributors to this is the amount of plastic that's finding its way into our rivers, lakes, seas and oceans. The issue of the amount of plastic that's finding its way into these various water bodies is a global challenge. As humans, we're known for how we can adapt and come up with solutions to any challenges we face. In this episode, we'll be exploring 3 major projects or inventions that are being used around the world to combat the problem that we have created for ourselves with the reckless use of plastic. Welcome to NBD Reels and thanks for joining me for another episode. Before we get into the episode, if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button and please make sure notifications are turned on so that you don't miss any future uploads. Also, this episode is available as an audio on whatever podcast platform you use. When plastic was first discovered and introduced to the masses, it was labelled as a miracle material. There was an explosion in the manufacturing industry across the world due to this new miracle material. It allowed us to produce cheap goods, which in turn fed the capitalist beast as demand for these new cheap goods increased. However, the dangers to our environment of this new miracle material were not yet truly known. By the time we had all the facts and the evidence on what the repercussions of satisfying our plastic appetite would be, it was too late. Today, it's estimated that there is 30 metric tons of plastic waste in seas and oceans, and a further 109 metric tons has accumulated in our rivers over the decades. We've produced 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic overall, and most of it is sitting in landfills where it could take centuries to break down. As we know, plastic pollution does not only impact sea life, it also carries toxic pollutants into the food chain, a food chain that includes us humans. Just to give you a visualization of how much plastic we have produced over time, it is the equivalent to 25,000 Empire State Buildings or 80 million blue whales. Also on the screen now, for those that are watching the visual, is a graphic of the path plastic takes to find itself into our seas and oceans. In this episode, we'll take a look at 3 projects and inventions that are trying to reverse the damages caused to our environment from plastic pollution. India is known as the second most populous country in the world, second only to China. As of 2021, India generates 9.46 megatons of plastic waste annually, of which 40% is not collected to be recycled, and about half of all plastic produced in the country is being used in packaging, most of which is for single use only. However, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, one company decided to change how plastic is viewed in the country by attempting to make it a valuable commodity, which in turn will encourage citizens to collect and recycle plastic. The idea came to life back in 2001, and the company came up with a fantastic idea of creating road surfaces out of the abundant waste plastic. The most fascinating part of this method of constructing durable roads is how sustainable the whole process is. There are 4 stages of sustainability, the first one being sourcing. The sourcing of used plastic items solves the issue of uncontrolled and the ever-growing waste in landfills and dump sites. The manufacturing. The roads are manufactured in a more sustainable way, emitting less greenhouse gas during the manufacturing process. Usage of the roads. The lifespan of the plastic roads is 3 times longer than a traditional asphalt surface. They are more durable, flexible, and they develop fewer potholes. Recycling. Plastic roads redefine current waste strategies and offer a circular solution by being reheated at the end of their lifespan and being used to repave other roads. The process is a very simple process requiring little high-tech machinery. First, the plastic is shredded into tiny pieces. The shredded plastic waste is scattered onto an aggregate of crushed stones and sand before being heated to about 170 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt the waste. The melted plastics then coat the aggregate in a thin layer. Then heated bitumen is added on top, which helps to solidify the aggregate and the mixture is complete. Many different types of plastics can be added to the mix: carrier bags, disposable cups, hard to recycle multi-layer films, and polythene and polypropylene foams have all found their way into India's roads, and they don't have to be sorted or cleaned before shredding. compared to other methods of recycling plastic waste. Not only is this method of constructing roads with plastic finds a use for the waste plastic, it also reduces the cost of constructing a road by at least 50%. To date, 703 kilometers of national highways have been constructed with the use of waste plastic in India. I think this is a fantastic way to repurpose used waste plastic, and that is why I featured this project within this episode. So we'll move on to the next innovation, which is the robo-fish. The presence of microplastics in bodies of water around the world is an alarming issue. These small pieces of plastic, the size of a sesame seed or smaller, present real risks to both humans and animals. A student recently won the Natural Robotics contest by designing a 3D printed robotic fish which is designed to ingest microplastics within our natural waterways such as rivers and streams. The motivation for this design stemmed from the concern over marine and freshwater pollution. The creator of the robo-fish sought of a way to reduce this through robotic design. Water pollution in the UK is a serious concern, which is the home of the creator. England has one of the worst water qualities in Europe, with just 14% of rivers in a good ecological condition. This can cause serious harm to wildlife, as well as posing a threat to people using water bodies in the country. The robo-fish was a result of the Natural Robotics contest, which asked people to submit a design for a robot inspired by an animal that would help the planet by combating pollution. The robot uses a set of gills to filter water while keeping microplastics inside its container. The robot's design is open source and free to download, so anyone with access to a 3D printer can create one of their own. The 50cm long robo-fish can already capture particles as small as 2 millimeters in size, along with an IMU for tracking its movements in the water. It also has inbuilt sensors to assess turbulence and underwater light levels, and it illuminates at night as well. Of course, this is a creation that is still in its infancy. However, I can't help but feel like this is a brilliant idea. I can see families in the future having one of these, and each time they go out for a walk along a water body, release it as they walk and watch the robo-fish work its magic. The Ocean Cleanup is a non-profit organisation whose sole aim is to rid the world's oceans of plastic, starting with the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. You may have seen the Ocean Cleanup in some of the major media publications around the world. The ocean garbage patches are massive. To effectively clean an area of such magnitude, a calculated and energy-efficient solution is required. This is exactly what Ocean Cleanup achieved as the brainchild of a Dutch 16-year-old. On their website, it states that their aim is to put themselves out of business once the oceans are clean and remove 90% of floating ocean plastics by 2040. Ocean Cleanup have different innovations for extracting plastics out of our oceans, seas and waterways. The innovations are broken down into 2 categories, with each category containing different iterations. These innovations are ocean systems and interceptors. The ocean system is the method in which Ocean Cleanup uses to collect waste plastic in the seas and oceans. The interceptors are used in natural water bodies such as rivers and streams. The system is designed to collect plastic that is trapped in a garbage patch. These plastics will slowly break down, fragmenting into smaller pieces called microplastics, as we've discussed already. Microplastics are more challenging to clean up, but are also easily mistaken for food by marine life. The aim of system is to harvest these plastics. The harvested plastic will be brought back to shore for recycling and turned into products such as sunglasses. The System 2 test campaign in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch took place over 12 weeks back in July to October of 2021. The test was successful and we can now confirm proof of technology. The Interceptor is an innovation designed with technology that will allow for river cleanups. The Interceptor is a high-tech solution with solar-powered mechanics, smart processing and connectivity for easy performance tracking. The Interceptor in its various forms is autonomous with a large capture and clean capacity. This capability in the primary technology is what Ocean Cleanup leverages to evaluate for feasibility in any new river they plan to tackle. The Interceptor is currently deployed in 4 locations, which are Indonesia, Malaysia, the Dominican Republic, and Vietnam. 1,000 rivers, or 1% of the world's rivers, account for 80% of the plastic flowing into the oceans from land. The interceptors are the perfect innovation to tackle this issue in our rivers. Ocean Cleanup aims to reach a 90% reduction of floating ocean plastic by 2040. To date, 1.7 million kilograms have been removed from different water bodies by Ocean Cleanup. So in conclusion, I can certainly say that the awareness of the dangers that are being presented with the continued use of plastic is increasing, and most of the world seems to be aligning in terms of how this issue can be solved. Take the country of Rwanda, which is a country located in the east of Africa, banned the use of plastic bags and made it a crime for anyone to possess a plastic bag in their country. Of course, that's a bit extreme for me, but they have taken this problem so seriously that this nation was willing to make it illegal to possess a plastic bag. Take the UK. They've also banned the use of plastic straws within all public establishments. The inventions and the projects that we have looked at in this episode highlight that the world is now looking at this issue for what it is, a huge problem. Tackling the plastic problem is only the tip of the iceberg in relation to our environmental issues that we face. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching.